and welcome to the May edition of our Faith Hour Diocese. I'm Dan Gallagher. On Saturday, April 25th, over 600 men from around the Diocese of Scranton gathered at King's College in Wilkes-Barre to take part in the first Catholic Men's Conference here in the diocese. In our opening segment, we'll see how these men walked away from this experience with a new excitement about their Catholic faith and a new desire to share it with others.
It's certainly my pleasure to welcome this group to King's College, our home. Please be at home. Know you are most welcome. It is edifying for the King's College community to see so many men on this beautiful day who could be doing so many other things, golfing or fishing or yard work or just enjoying the day, but you decided to be here to deepen your faith and your knowledge and your love for God and your neighbor. It is edifying for us. So you bring to this community hope, and we thank you for that.
To be loved because of who I am, not because of what I do. That is a daily struggle. I bring that to my examination of conscience every night. I wake up in the morning and cross myself, and I say, Lord, give me one more day. I do go to confession weekly, but that's not because I'm so good. It's because I'm such a wreck. I look face to face, and my priest, they could recite. They know what I'm going to say before I say it. They just want to know, how'd you do this week? Did you begin to begin? Are you despairing? Do you feel like you can't begin again? Let me help you to shrink that dragon. Man, our work and our call to fatherhood is not just some task. It's not just something we do because we have the label Catholic. It's not just because it sometimes feels good. It's not because we were born in this church and therefore we do what we're supposed to do. This is a very office, title, mission from God that He has given you. And that your success and your failure in your fatherhood has cosmic implications. It will change the cosmos. The success and failure of your fatherhood, which I can't replicate, no man standing next to you can be the father that God is calling you to be. It is unique to you. It is unique to me. And we can't accomplish this under our own authority. We can't accomplish this under our own power. And we can't certainly accomplish it under our own will. All these things we stand before God and say, here I am, Dad. You've asked me to do this. You've called me to be this, and I can't do it. Help me. Help my unbelief. Take my fear. Take my doubt. Help me to get up again and begin again. We fall down, but we get up. We fall down, but we get up. We fall down, but we get up. 'Cause a saint is just a sinner who falls down, but still gets up.
Give glory! Give glory to God. Sing it out, men. Give glory to God. Thou art giving. Thou art giving and forgiving. Ever blessing, ever blessed. Wellspring of the joy of living. Ocean depth of happy rest.
So this is my first experience here, and I think it's a great religious experience that we're having here today.
Oh, I think it's great. I'm a big fan of Father Larry Richards, and when I heard he was coming up here for this, I said, you got to see this guy in person. I'd never seen him in person before, and I'm really glad that I did. He was terrific. The speaker before him was great, and I'm looking forward to the rest of the time. But it's a great thing to come up and do with Dad. It's an excuse to come home and see the folks, get a home-cooked meal. And I've been to these in a couple other places before, but never with a crowd this big.
I'm a converted Catholic, and I wanted to kind of see what other men in the Catholic community are like. And one of the main reasons for being here for me is, there's a lot of people in the world without a good direction. And even in the Catholic Church and in Christianity. And so a conference like this really helps me to get focused and also have a compass true north, which is, for me, the Lord Jesus Christ. And just to see other men, a like-minded spirit, to do the same thing. And so that's really the main reason why I'm here, to do that. So.
I've had a great love for the faith. And I think it's great to fine-tune it, to sharpen it up, to be around men that are very like-minded and pro-family and, just putting themselves before others. And I think it's a great place to start. Damon Owens really got through as far as our sexuality and how important that is. And Father Larry, if he doesn't fire you up, nothing will. So it's just an honor to be, around all these men and certainly these speakers. I think just stepping away from things and realizing the importance of family and prayer and like I said, just stepping away and trying to get more involved with some of those things that, God may be speaking to me, He may be nudging me. This is a way to give back to the community, back to the parish.
The only time I ever told my dad that I loved him was on his deathbed. Why? Because he wasn't the type of dad I wanted. He was an alcoholic, and he was a mean alcoholic. And I spent my whole life judging my father instead of loving my father. Huh? Jesus Christ only gave us one commandment. Look it up when you get a Bible. John chapter 13, verse 34. This is my commandment. He told us, gave us a lot of commands, but only one commandment. This is my commandment. Love one another as I have loved you. Chapter 13, verse 35, the very next verse says, this is how all people know you're my disciples, because you love each other. Period. The God of the universe said, you're going to be my disciple. This is how people know you're my disciples. Not because you know all the doctrine perfectly. Not because you spend 5 hours a day in prayer perfectly. Not because you say 10 rosaries perfectly. All people know you're my disciples because you love one another. Period. And if that's what God gave us to command, and then he says, he forbid us to judge. And boy, we Catholics are great judges. We're not such great lovers, especially me. We need to be people of love, not just taking care of the poor. Oh, look, I take care of the poor, but you're miserable to everybody else around you, please. You and I got to put people first, and we got to tell them that we love them. I am so glad that the last thing I ever said to my dad was, Dad, I love you. That's what he took into eternity from his son. We need to be people like this, because let me give you a hint. When you're dying on your deathbed, no one's going to care how much money you had. If you had ripples in your stomach, you were great, good looking, nobody cares. You're going to be worm meat in a little bit of time. The only thing that's going to matter to you is relationship. So when you're laying in your deathbed, you're going to be thinking about, were you in a relationship with God? And did you love the people? And did they love you back? I promise you. And if that's the only thing that's going to matter there, gentlemen, then you decide today that this is the way you're going to live your life.
It's very easy to get sidetracked. and to get your priorities out of order. There are examples today, back when I played, good people, good lives who had become a train wreck because of the temptation and not being strong enough to withstand that. Well, my wife, she helped a lot in that area, let me tell you that. Let me tell you that. But one of the biggest impacts on my life was when we started having a family and having children. Our son was born in 1982. And just to think that you're responsible for another human being, not just to clothe them, to feed them, and put a roof over their head, but for their spiritual well-being. I mean, that's an enormous task. And really it was a big commitment, and I wanted to make sure I was ready to handle that. So one day, one evening, one night, we're laying in bed, getting ready to go to sleep, and going through 12 years of Catholic education, prayer was always very, very important to me. But to me, it was a personal thing. It's between me and God, right? So we're laying there in bed, getting ready to go to sleep one night, and my wife taps me over. She says, "Let's pray." All right, fine, I'll pray. So I bless myself, and I start to pray. She says, No. She says, let's pray together. Let's pray out loud. And I'm like, whoa, what? What do you want me to do? You want me to pray out? No, I don't do that. I don't do that. Well, who do you think won that argument? 35 years later, honest to gosh, to this day, before we lay our head down on the pillow to go to sleep, we pray together. Sometimes we alternate nights, she'll say a prayer that night, I say it the next night and such, but we do it together. I can't tell you, the impact that's made on my faith, on our married life, on our family, as we share that together. But guys, sometimes we feel, we're too tough, we don't do that, we don't do those kind of things. So she's been an enormous pillar of strength, and as most of our families, they're the foundation, they're the rock, the wife, the mom, that makes things click and makes things happen.
The clouds of sin and sadness drive the dark of doubt away. Give her a immortal gladness, fill us with the light of day. Give glory.
I don't know if you can appreciate what this gathering does for me and to me, but it is one incredible seat up here to look out. And being a priest of this diocese before I was its bishop, so being involved in ministry for over 32 years, I've been in a lot of parts of this diocese, from my hometown in Carbondale through the Mid-Valley, where I spent many years, to the Cunningham Valley, where I see friends right in front of me, to the Northern Tier when I was up in Sayre, and I see folks here from the Williamsport area and from the Poconos and from every corner of this diocese. And I can't tell you what a blessing and what a great sign your presence is here today, not just to us, but word travels real quickly. What a great sign and symbol and reminder you are to our corner of the world here in northeastern and north central Pennsylvania of what it means to be a Christian and what it means for us to know the power of God in our lives and to seek to live that out. What a difference this gathering has already made and will make as we go forward. Thank you. Thank you for your presence here today. This conference, quite simply, is an example of what we can do and all that is possible when we Christians live out our faith. This conference reminds us that it's not enough for us to simply be practicing Catholics. We have to be active Catholics, and this conference is a powerful example to me and our corner of the world that the church in the Diocese of Scranton is very much alive because of men like you.
Over the last several weeks, the diocese has been conducting a number of regional meetings focusing on the subject of parish leadership. Joining me now to discuss this in greater detail, it's a pleasure to welcome Catherine Butel, Secretary for Parish Life. Catherine, looking at these meetings, what has been their primary mission?
Certainly, Dan. As the dialogue sessions have been titled, a regional dialogue on pastoral leadership. So the purpose of the gatherings is an opportunity twofold. First of all, for Bishop to bring information in a very proactive way to the larger population of the diocese. Conversations which have been underway among the clergy are now being broadened to include lay leaders in all of the parishes of the diocese. In addition to that, and at least as important to that part of the purpose, is the opportunity for Bishop to listen to the delegations from each of the 120 parishes in terms of their understanding of the pastoral leadership challenges and opportunities facing the diocese right now, and their insight and wisdom about how we can work together to respond to those challenges.
Two things that I want to consider as we talk about parish leadership. One, we need to maximize the ministry of our clergy. We need to somehow be able to tap the unique gifts that our priests can bring to our lives as Catholic Christians. We all have particular gifts, and our priests have unique gifts in the leadership of our church and in the celebration of the sacraments, especially the Eucharist. And the second thing that we need to do is mobilize the gifts of all the baptized for the sake of the gospel mission and the building up of our local parishes and this local church. You've recognized the invitation given to you, the challenge that's yours from baptism, to use your gifts well and generously. We need to consistently tap into that reality with all of our brothers and sisters in the parishes that we represent. So we need to talk tonight about maximizing the ministry of our clergy, particularly our priests, and mobilizing the gifts of all the baptized.
Based on the feedback you've been getting from people who have been participating in these meetings, do you think they're leaving with a positive feeling?
I think before they're leaving, the exciting part is that during the meeting, the participants are very engaged. They have, for the most part, arrived at the meeting with some prior preparation because of the materials which were sent out in advance along with Bishop's homily. And so they're eager to learn more and to participate in the conversation.
Also question, what is the support that needs to be in place for the person assuming the role as a parish life coordinator so that that person can indeed be successful in the new role?
The best thing that could happen were this to become a reality for them would be able to do some sort of phasing in, but also educating the parishioners. They don't feel that there's going to be that much of an opposition to this possibility, but education is going to be a key to whatever does happen.
Some of that process and how that's going to play out and educating folks on that, just in case they don't have one, letting them know it's not a takeaway, but an enhancement to their parish community. That the pastor that may be stepping down in responsibility and devoting his role to the sacraments is going to enhance that in the parish community, and that the PLC will now take this to another level and enhance parish life.
There's been a high level of energy and a very affirming spirit of what the members of the parish are already doing and what they can still do to assist with the needs across the diocese. So it's been a very positive dialogue. The focus in every session, Bishop has held up two a two-pronged topic, which he says, in his own words, includes challenge and opportunity contained in both of these. The challenge and the opportunity contained in our effort to maximize the ministry of the clergy, and the challenge and opportunity contained in the effort to mobilize the gifts of all the baptized. So those themes are being heard over and over again, and in every case, the parish delegations are able to talk about how they are already doing both of those things and some very creative ways to increase our efforts in both of those areas.
Catherine, why at this particular point in time do you think it's necessary for us to have this type of dialogue? What are some of the challenges that we're facing here in the diocese?
The occasion which Bishop is bringing in terms of information is to share again with all of the members of the diocese the reality that we are facing, just as dioceses across the country are facing, which is a reducing number of clergy available for full-time ministry as pastors. This is just really a reality of the age demographic of our pastors and the number of retirements. And as I said, this is the reality across the diocese, across the country. Along with that, though, and I think the participants are very much appreciating the context that Bishop is providing, because it really is also the furthering of the mission and vision expressed in Bishop Amber's pastoral letter. And so we're talking in these regional sessions about how that vision has been achieved to some extent over the 5 years since Bishop started here in his role as bishop, and also how it needs to be more fully realized. And so the call of all the baptized is the most important context being set here, and the occasion to as I said earlier, to mobilize the gifts of all the baptized. One of the statements that Bishop has made in each of the regional gatherings is that whether we had 2 remaining priests or 2,000, the primary focus at this point would still be on mobilizing the gifts of all of the baptized, because that's really the only way for us to live the church and become the church that we're called to be.
Yeah, I thought the forum was excellent. All the speakers from the tables had excellent comments. The main theme being education, being proactive, and letting folks know about the upcoming changes that the bishop the diocese is going to enact over the next few months, or maybe within the next year. I think overall the changes will be positive. The communities and the parishes will benefit from this new setup with a parish life coordinator. I think the community that I'm personally in at St. Pat's would embrace the role, and we would get to be a stronger parish. I really look forward to it.
I think one of the common things that I heard tonight was an overwhelming desire to have a good parish, have a parish that has the same kind of life that it has today, with a parish life coordinator. So in that regard, I think that people are looking for a way to embrace that whole different way of having a new leader in their parish and how to go about that. So I heard people say that they really want to hear more about parish life coordinator. So without that initial information of who they would be, what kind of education, training they would have, they're not feeling ready to respond to how exactly they would come forward. So it really was more of what would this person, more questions about who this person would be, and would we have some choice, and how do we know, who would the candidates be? So that was a large part of the conversation tonight.
I heard a lot of questions, a lot of uncertainty, but a lot of confidence that the diocese does know what it's doing. It is going to spend the time to educate and to put the information out to all of us that will be impacted by this. But I come away with a lot of confidence that no matter what the future holds, if we open up our hearts to the Holy Spirit and realize that it's His church, not ours, everything will come out in the end the way it's supposed to come out, and for the best for everyone involved.
What are some of the options that are being discussed to meet these challenges?
The reason the dialogue is called pastoral leadership is that, as I mentioned earlier, we are really focusing on the leadership challenges and the leadership opportunities. It's not about parish structures, but at the same time, what Bishop wants to convey and is conveying in the regional dialogues is that the church provides several approaches or pastoral pathways which can help him and help the whole diocese respond to the leadership challenges that we have right now. So how can a diocese anywhere in the country or anywhere in the world respond to the need for leadership in thriving, viable parishes, even if there are not enough priests to assign one to every parish? And so there are multiple ways to do that. And so Bishop is talking about partnerships and linkages between parishes, also the opportunity to create pastoral teams, and to engage, as you're suggesting, deacons and religious and lay persons in more significant roles of pastoral leadership. The reason I wanted to say it's a little bit bigger than what you mentioned is that those are not just administrative roles, that a deacon, a religious, or a lay person serving the pastoral leadership needs in a parish would serve the full scope of parish life. And so it would be in those areas we so often talk about: word, worship, service, and community. And it would be really based, as it has been since the early Christian community we're reading about in the Acts of the Apostles during this Easter and post-Easter season, it would be based on the gifts of each of the members. So each disciple discerning how they are uniquely called, what their vocation is, and how what theirs, yours, mine, would be to serve the mission of the church. And then the ordering of those gifts in a collaborative way to accomplish the mission.
Catherine, looking ahead, you'll be finishing up the regional meetings within the next few weeks. What's the next step?
I love that question, because I have usually at the end of each of the regional sessions, I've mentioned just so briefly, but I'd like to explain a little bit more, that it's very clear to all of us who are participating as planners and facilitators of the regional dialogue that this is one more step in a conversation which has already been going on, but which is going to continue for quite some time in the diocese. And as Bishop has said, there's not a set timeline. He's not announcing some program that's going to happen overnight or anything of that nature. It's basically, again, inviting more people into the conversation. And then when a particular parish is in a situation of transition or a leadership question comes up in a particular parish, there'll be a much more concentrated conversation and dialogue in that parish. In the meantime, one of the most common themes from all of the responses after the table dialogue is the need for a great deal more education for the parish membership at large. So the next several steps will certainly be involving further education efforts, which will come perhaps in the form of the parish handouts and maybe some additional video pieces, tools that will help the parishes to continue the education and conversation there. Diocesan-wide messages and information that would come out perhaps through the Catholic Light. But basically, it will be a continuing education campaign, education communication campaign, while at the same time working, I'm seeing threes now, the education communication campaign, working with individual parishes that are in the midst of transition right now, and we have a number of them whose pastors are either retiring or there's a change called for. And then the third piece is developing in every way possible the leadership that we know we're going to need to serve as pastoral associates, and perhaps also in a role of parish life coordinator, which is being explained in the regional dialogue. So the ministry formation, the work with individual parishes, and the education and communication campaign.
We come to you now from Ascension Parish here in Forest City, the home parish for Deacon Seth Wasnock. In our upcoming conversation with Deacon Seth, we'll talk about a very special moment that's about to take place in his life on Saturday, June 6th at St. Peter's Cathedral, when he's ordained as the newest priest here in the Diocese of Scranton. We'll also talk about his impending excitement over the opportunity to finally give back to the faithful of this diocese. Deacon Seth, before we get into any discussion about your upcoming ordination, first tell me a little bit about your own call to the priesthood. Why did you decide to answer God's call?
Sure. I've always been involved in the church activities since I was very young. I started altar serving when I was, in fourth grade, and so involved helping the new pastor, Father Albert, Father Serba, in their transitions here. And being just involved overall in different things of the Mass. Father Albert really took me under his wing, took me to different things. We went to World Youth Day in Toronto. He took me over to the seminary to see St. Pius X when it was still open, and the seminarians who were there, and really just opened up the world of church, if you would, for me. And so it really spurred from that, just being involved and seeing him and other priests do their different types of ministry throughout the diocese, that really stirred in me a sense that maybe I could do this, something I like to do, something I found fulfillment in. So that starting out, that was my initial thrust to go. I started right out of high school at the college seminary in St. Charles, but after a couple of years, I decided to leave formation, step back, and I attended the University of Scranton, another fine Jesuit institution, and it was there I studied accounting, so totally different path. I thought I was going to be very happy as an accountant, so I wanted to do that since I was a kid. And still there, I fostered my faith. I would attend daily mass. So I never lost that aspect of it, of the faith, of going to mass, going to church. I was still involved here. And in that time, it just continued to grow. The question continued to nag. Maybe I am still called to this and trying to see. I needed to take a deeper look. I did what I needed to do at that point, went to the U, graduated, and now it's time maybe to take one more look. That was 6 years ago, and one more look turned into ordination in less than a couple weeks.
Over the last few years, you've had the opportunity to witness firsthand the life of a priest, and you've experienced it working in a parish over the last couple of summers. What do you think it is? What appeals to you about the ministry of the priesthood?
Well, for me personally, and I think every guy is different. There's a general overarching service and the call of God and that. But for me personally, it's that connection with families, connection with the people, being able to serve them in their happiest moments, but also in their saddest moments, and being invited into that most intimate time of their lives, happy or sad, and being able to bring God and Jesus into that moment at that time, where maybe they're not thinking of it, but that healing sense. And a lot of times you hear other priests say, and I've experienced it myself, you have no idea what you're doing there, and you're just kind of there, and it's really the feedback afterward. Like I feel like I did nothing. I was just sitting there and not really saying anything. And then the feedback afterwards is always, "Oh, you're such a presence there. Thank you so much for coming." And sometimes it's like, "Oh, well, look what I did," but you have to take a step back and be like, "Look what God put me in that particular spot to do, and use me as that instrument for His grace, His mercy for those people." And I found that's the most rewarding so far. The different opportunities I've had, both here in the diocese and also at school in different parish assignments. Most recently, I was at, for the year, a parish in Arlington, Virginia, St. Bernadette's Catholic Church, much larger. The church sat 1,600 people, and the masses were just about full every weekend. So quite a different turn. They all very different geographic, Filipino, Vietnamese, Hispanic, white Anglo. So just a different feel of the diocese, and being involved in that parish life, along with baptism, school. There was an aging community kind of thing. So just in that all aspect, every day is different. Every day is a unique challenge. And I have never experienced 2 days that were the same so far.
Deacon Seth, after several years of formation, you're only weeks away from your ordination as a priest. What's going through your mind right now?
It's two-edged, joy and terror at the same time. The joy because I'm very much at peace. I know this is where the Lord is calling me to do. Terror that I will screw up, I will do something wrong. But then also on that, having the faith of our Lord and Jesus, who I know will walk with me every day, and being able to realize that I can't do this alone, and I'm not supposed to do this alone. So that, looking back, knowing that He was always with me, getting me through, even though I didn't necessarily always realize that. As I get older, praying more, developing that deeper personal relationship that we're all called to have, particularly that personal relationship with Jesus in daily prayer and into the Eucharist, has really helped and guided me in my formation. Ups and downs. It's always been a constant. in my life, and it really helped me to prepare and to just level off for the stresses and the ups and downs that come with parish life and parish activities and seminary and parish, being in the parish on the weekends, being in seminary during the week, and now just even just in making that transition out of seminary for the past 6 years to living at a parish for full time. I'm 29 years old, and it's the first time I'm having a full-time job. And not that I didn't have other working opportunities, but to not be going to school. This is at 29 years of age. This is the first time I'm not going to be in school come September. So making that transition can be scary and terrifying at the same time. But having that trust has really helped me to come to this point in life.
Over the last several years, you've had a number of people across this diocese who have been supporting you prayerfully and financially, probably people you'll never meet. How grateful and blessed do you feel knowing that you've had that support over these years?
It's a tremendous gift. We don't have jobs in seminary, so we basically rely on the generosity of people, which is huge, and the people are so generous. But not just generous financially, they're generous with their prayers. And I think you said it best, I might never know them or see them. They're all across the diocese and really all across the world. We form one body of Christ in one church, and we have our particular parish, but we're part of the whole community, and the whole community will be rejoicing, and the whole community rejoices every year around June when new priests are ordained. And I know that this year particularly, there are all these statistics that are out, and there are roughly 25% more priests than there were last year being ordained this year. And that, I don't know why, but the great joy of what particularly happened this year in the theme of the world, but it's going to be a great year for the church. I think a lot of great things are going to happen, and realizing that while we're here in Forest City or Scranton, we're part of this bigger community. We're part of that we're going to be rejoicing with those 500 and however many and change other priests who will be ordained, not just the one here in the diocese, but all of us will be rejoicing together. I know of my classmates, the 36 of us from all across the country, as far west as I think Fargo, North Dakota, and Wichita, Lincoln, far south is Savannah. We will be rejoicing together as we, across the month of May and June, are ordained in service to our particular diocese, but to the greater church. And that joy of being able to be part of this community here in Scranton, but also the greater church at large, has been very comforting as well, and very peaceful.
When that moment becomes a reality and you're ordained a priest here in the Diocese of Scranton, do you look at that now as a wonderful opportunity to start giving back to all those people who have been supporting you over the years?
Absolutely. I mean, it's how can it not be? How can it not be that time? And as you know, as you grow in formation, you kind of start to realize these things more and more, of the importance of the people, because without, I mean, you could be up here by yourself without a congregation. The congregation is the heart of the parish, and feeding with those people, eating with those people, and dining with those people, and living with those people is what makes the parish unique, and especially here in the Diocese of Scranton, every parish is very unique, and in the best possible way, that everybody brings something different to the table at that, and we need to celebrate that. And I can't wait to be able to serve the diocese for however many years the Lord sees fit to give me here, to serve them the best that I can, and to always be ready and available to serve at their needs as well.
Hi, I'm Bill Janello. We're here at St. Nicholas St. Mary's School in Wilkes-Barre, where students here are enjoying an incredible opportunity to learn from a world-renowned singer, Thomas Mark Fallon. He's here as the artist in residence for this spring semester at the school, under the auspices of the NEIU 19 and the Pennsylvania Council on the Arts. Mr. Fallon is teaching students singing and other types of performance, and it's all going to come together in a Best of Broadway show later this month in May. And we're going to be talking to Mr. Fallon and some of the students who are participating in the program.
Then right foot, wave together, here we go. Sing.
Follow the yellow brick road.
Again.
Follow the yellow brick road.
Breath.
Follow, 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 follow the yellow brick road.
Now that has to be quick and
Follow
funny
the
to get
green,
there.
love over the stream. Follow the fellow who follows a dream. Follow, 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 follow the yellow brick road.
Good, let's do that again from the beginning, please.
What's it like working with these young people?
Bill, it's an unbelievable experience. You know, I'm a performing artist who believes strongly in giving back to your roots. And I began my studies in Scranton, in South Scranton, and studied in West Scranton when I was 10 years old. And I was only studying for a short time, and there was an audition for the lead role in A Mall and the Night Visitors, a Christmas opera. And I won that audition, and with having studied voice for just a few months, there I was with makeup, with costume, with trying to be crippled and then become cured in the middle of the opera, etc., and then singing with an orchestra and memorizing all of the notes and the text from the opera. To me, that was an unbelievable first-time experience. I then later, a year later, toured nationally in that same role, left school for 5 months, and we toured the whole United States. And I joined the union, AGMA, American Guild of Musical Artists, at the age of 11. And all of those memories to me are incredible. It began my career. But I believe it's very important to come back to your roots and to nurture and draw out the best possible talent. And the perfect match for that is with this artist residency program sponsored by the Pennsylvania Council on the Arts and NEIU 19. I happen to be what they call an advanced teaching artist, someone who has an established performance career already in place, but yet is able to, as a performer, come back and to teach and to bring out the best of all of these wonderful students. Here at St. Nicholas happens to be 323 students I've been working with since April 20th, rather quickly to put this whole show on its feet. But we go from pre-kindergarten all the way up to 8th grade.
Make sure we see the face.
The younger children here, and particularly both here and at Wyoming Area Catholic and St. Jude's and Mountaintop schools where I've been in the last few years, I particularly enjoy working with the young pre-kindergarten and kindergarten, first grade, up to second grade, because they are so innocent, but yet they're also finding their voice. They're not only finding their spoken voice, but they're finding their singing voice, both the low notes and the high notes. And it's kind of wonderful when I'm working with them through facial expressions and gestures to bring out the best possible voice that they can give me, and, you know, not to cross that line between what we call singing and then screaming, you know. So it's kind of interesting when they find the beauty of their voice, and I give them little tricks of the trade in vocal technique as to, you know, raising the eyebrows to approach the higher notes and unloosening the tension, and with a screwdriver and dropping the jaw to get the lower notes. So we have the whole range of their voice. It's wonderful to watch the little kids, and they respond so quickly to that.
Working with these young people for several weeks in preparation for the show. What have you observed in their growth over that period of time?
Well, first of all, Bill, I had been warned before I came to St. Nicholas St. Mary with 323 kids that there were an amazing crop of talented solo performers here, and that has happened rather quickly. When I hit the ground running on April 20th, first thing I need to do is to surface all of that talent. The best way in this short amount of time to put a show together is to kind of pluck out of the school all of those students who take voice lessons privately already. So that way they're a little bit ahead of the curve, okay? And they're already studying, they know their instrument, but yet under the theme of Broadway, give them an opportunity to shine through Broadway repertoire. And then also to find out who's taking private dance lessons. And the response was amazing. We have, in this production of The Best of Broadway, we have 4 dance groups. We have the ballet group doing a wonderful rendition of A Whole New World from Aladdin. And then we have the Irish step dancers who are coming in with their umbrellas, and they're doing a wonderful version of Singing in the Rain. And then we have the tap group, which is coming in and doing, they say the neon lights are bright on Broadway. They're doing a whole routine there. And a very wonderful, exciting hip-hop group, okay, of some of the older girls and going all the way down to some of the younger kids who are doing a version of Footloose. So we have the variety of dance, and then instrumentalists have surfaced. We have a very fine flautist who has come forth from 7th grade, and a snare drum player, and 2 fiddlers. And so using creativity, we have a little segment from Fiddler on the Roof, and now we have it Fiddlers on the Roof with an 8th grader and a 5th grader, a boy and a girl. So the talent here, it's unbelievable, and I think the parents, when they see the final product, parents and grandparents and family members of mine and friends that are coming for the final, the auditorium will be packed, and they're not only doing everything on stage, but they're doing backstage as well. There'll be people operating the spotlights, the computer classes typing the program, and we have a competitive design for the cover and the back of the program. Students will act as ushers giving out the programs, people working on the sound and the lights. It's going to be a wonderful, all-inclusive concert, the best of Broadway. I think that students, it's kind of a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for them to have the opportunity in a short amount of time, which goes rather quickly, to work with a professional, world-renowned singer. So I've sung, as you've mentioned, I've sung at Carnegie Hall, I've sung at Lincoln Center, at Avery Fisher Hall, and I've sung at the New York City Opera, and I've sung in opera stages throughout France and Italy and so forth. To be able to bring that whole experience behind me here and kind of instill and draw out from my young performers here and kind of encourage them to go after their dreams. When we talk about taking lessons and vocal lessons, you know, that it's not a drag, one voice lesson after another. Practice does make perfect. You're not only developing your vocal technique, but you're memorizing your repertoire. And then perhaps as they leave elementary school, and perhaps some of them will go across the plaza to Holy Redeemer or down to Scranton Prep or whatever, on a secondary level, as their bodies change and their voice range continues to grow, all of a sudden those seeds that were planted as elementary students come to flourish, you know, when on a secondary level, when they're working on the stage at that particular point. Then that's quite exciting. And then that might lead them, for some to consider, like I did, to pursue a career in the performing arts as a vocal major or as a dance major or a combined major.
We're here talking with Maya Boguski. Maya is an 8th grade student here at St. Nicholas St. Mary's School in Wilkes-Barre, where she's a member of the choir involved in various activities. She's a member of Exaltation of the Holy Cross Parish in Hanover Township, where she's a member of both the youth and adult choirs. She's a cantor. She's a member of the youth ministry group. And she is one of the students who has the great benefit of learning from Mr. Fallon during his artist in residency program here. And Maya, we're happy to have you here talking with us today. And obviously you've been singing for quite a while now, since you were very young. What do you enjoy about singing?
It's just like a way for me to kind of like interact with my friends, or like it's just like what I enjoy doing, and I really want to have a career in like voice or acting or something along those lines.
Good, keeping the jaw dropped, okay? Lower range again, slowly. Me.
Well, the fact that you want to pursue a career in the arts, it really must be a thrill for you to be studying under a world-famous singer who's come right here to your school to teach you all the knowledge he has, all the special techniques that he has honed in his career over the years. What has that been like for you?
I really enjoy it, actually. I do community theater, so like I always learn new things from directors and voice teachers and things like that. But Mr. Fallon has really like taught me like new kind of like vocal warm-ups and like things to do just to like sing, basically. Yeah, I really enjoy working with him. It's really fun. It's been a great experience.
Well, that sounds great. Now, I understand that you're going to be going next door next year to Holy Redeemer High School, and I would imagine you're looking forward to joining the arts groups there and continuing your career in the arts.
I hope to be part of the drama club there, and then continue with my voice lessons and piano and community theater and things like that. So.
Without me, my world will go on turning, a world that's full of happiness,
Now we're talking with Andrew James. Andrew's a 7th grader here at St. Nicholas St. Mary's School, where he sings in the school choir. He's a member of All Saints Parish in Plymouth, where he's a member of the choir there. And Andrew has been singing for about 3 years, performing in theater groups. And also, he recently, several weeks ago, started taking voice lessons, and coincidentally, at the same time, started working with Mr. Fallon in the Artist in Residency program. And Andrew, what have you been learning so far from those experiences?
Well, at my voice lessons, I've been learning posture and breathing mostly, and with Mr. Fallon, I've been learning songs, singing. He's been teaching us movements to the songs. That's what he's taught us, and at my voice lessons, I said posture, breathing. I did one song with him. That's it that I've learned so far.
Okay. It must be a great benefit to, in addition to your voice lessons here, to be learning from somebody who's a world-famous singer and has performed all over. What has that been like for you?
It's been good. He's taught me some things. Like, I learned so far about 3 or so songs. Or no, four from him, which has been really amazing because we've only been with him for about 3 or so weeks now.
Mm-hmm. What do you enjoy about singing?
I enjoy singing because it helps me express my feelings. Because I have a hard time expressing them with words.
Okay. And do you think that this experience is going to encourage you to continue being involved in the arts and theater programs and so forth?
Yes, I think it will.
We're talking with Chris Teig. He's the principal of St. Nicholas St. Mary's School here in Wilkes-Barre. And we're talking to Mr. Teig about the Artist in Residency program, and Thomas Mark Fallon, who is the Artist in Residence here. And Chris, it must be a real thrill to have someone of Mr. Fallon's stature and talent here teaching your students how to sing.
It really is. I first met Mr. Fallon a number of years back at St. Peter's Cathedral, and I observed him professionally there when he was working on one of their Christmas shows. And then a few years later, when I became principal at Wyoming Area Catholic up in Exeter, Mr. Fallon reached out to me and told me about this Artist in Residence program. And we're so grateful to NEIU 19 and the Pennsylvania Council on the Arts for helping us to fund this program. I saw firsthand what the outcome was at Wyoming Area Catholic and the benefits that our students there saw. And I thought when I came here to St. Nick St. Mary's, it'd be a great opportunity for the children here.
Well, since they've been studying under Mr. Fallon, what have you observed? What kind of feedback are you getting from the students?
A lot of positive feedback. I see them happy. I see them loving to come to learn. And scientifically, studies show that the arts in schools have that effect. You see fewer behavior problems. You see an uptick in grades. You see self-esteem being improved, and just a general overall great feeling about the school because kids are being on stage. Mr. Fallon does a great job of drawing out their talent and letting them put that on display for all to see.
Well, the grand finale of the program, if you will, is going to be a concert called The Best of Broadway that is occurring on May the 14th. The school, I would imagine the whole school community is really looking forward to this event.
Everyone's excited. It's going to be a great culmination of Mr. Fallon's work, and all of our students, all 323 of our students, will be on stage from pre-K through 8, displaying their talent, whether it be singing, dancing, performing, gymnastics. There's everything involved. I can't wait to see it. I know our children are excited. I know our parents and our staff are excited.
Big smile.
That's all the time we have for now. On behalf of the staff at Catholic Television, I'd like to thank you for joining us today and invite you to tune us in again next month for our next edition of Our Faith, Our Diocese.
A deer, Ray, a drop of golden sun.
Both thumbs.
Me, a name I call myself. Far along the way to run.
So we.
So we need a pulling thread. La, a note to follow. So.
Cup of tea.
Tea, a drink with jam and bread. That will bring us
Faster.
back to dough. A deer, a female deer. Ray, a drop of golden sun. Me, a name I call myself. Far along the way to run. So we need a pulling thread. La, a note to follow. So tea, a drink with jam and bread. That will bring us back to dough.
Way up, way up, way up. And then we have the gymnast. We're doing a pyramid and we build. Ready? Do.
Re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti.
And we push Sophia up on top of the pyramid. Then we sing razzle dazzle. Way up, way up. Excellent.